can see it's thicker. It's not coming out as well now because it's thicker. When it's more viscous, it's hard to kind of force out through the grommet. So otitis interna, but that's an infection of the inner ear. We don't, but rarely seldom use that term. I think when it's an infection of the inner ear, that some more specific terms are given. So for example, labyrinthitis, vestibuloneuritis. Now at that moment, my auntie kind of she did find it slightly uncomfortable. So you can see it came away suddenly. Or was it? I'm not sure if it did find it uncomfortable. I think it was just the noise actually. One or the other, but you can see that sudden movement, and that's where you've got to be alert. Whenever we're performing clinical ear care, we've got to be alert because I've got a brace which is useful, so any sudden movements, it can control that head movements. I don't want to, although my auntie's technically got a hole in the eardrum by the grommet, I don't want to add another hole with the instrument and cause another infection. So we've always got to be prepared to come away with the instrumentation, or if we're not able to do that, support the patient's head. So if they do move, it's not going to come in contact with the instrument, because these instruments are kind of quite sharp. It's a needle in the ear. That's essentially what it is. These are stainless steel needles that we're putting in the ear that are hollow. So otitis interna, normally within the audiological profession, ENT field, the term's more, when it's describing an inner ear infection, it's more of the specific type of infection, so labyrinthitis, vestibuloneuritis, Meniere's disease, if there's a lesion, so an acoustic neuroma, so there's more specific terms given. Now, otitis media, going back to that, that's an umbrella term, and it encompasses many infections of the middle ear. But you can get different names, more specific terms given for different types of infection. For example, one of the middle ear infections, you can call it's called suppurative otitis media, so chronic suppurative otitis media. And that's when you've got a middle ear infection and there's a hole in your eardrum, like a perforation. So technically speaking, you could argue the infection that my auntie's got is called chronic suppurative otitis media, because although she has got an artificial hole, she's got a grommet. I'll come back to that. You can see now that I've got that thicker discharge. It's a lot drier. So, but this has caused its own problem because some of the discharge is crystallized and it's blocking that grommet. And I'm testing that. And the reason how I'm testing it, I'm using a tympanometer machine, which is a pressure test machine. We can measure the mobility of the middle ear. But what the tympanometer can also do is measure the ear canal volume. Now, when you haven't got a hole in your eardrum or you've got no grommet, the ear canal volume is from the entrance of the ear, where we have a little rubber tip that goes into here, from the starting point of that to the eardrum. But when you've got a hole in the eardrum and you measure the ear canal volume, not only are you measuring the ear canal volume of the outer ear, but you're also measuring the ear canal volume of the middle ear. So you should have a much, much larger, almost 2 or 3 times larger ear canal volume. And I'm continuously testing that during the appointment. Whenever I think the grommet's clear, I'm testing measuring the ear canal volume. And if it's a normal ear canal volume, what you should get when there's no hole, we know the grommet's blocked, or there's still a lot of fluid behind the eardrum, so we're not able to physically measure the whole volume because of the fluid that remains in the middle ear, or the grommet's blocked. And in this case, there's a lot of dry debris, you can see, and this is much harder to remove than the liquid, because the liquid it's more susceptible to be suctioned. So carry on watching that, and I'll explain about again, I'm going off course.